Hi, you have tuned in to the Raging Aggron channel, and I'm your host, Djingis. This will be the first draft recap of today, and this will also be the first team in the Ula Ula division, Moon Conference in the Pokemon Winter League or PWL. And first out we have the Pittsburgh Steelixs, and the Pittsburgh Steelixs, we're going to start here. The Pittsburgh Steelixs are coaches by Levity, and he has his own YouTube channel, and it's on my friends list, what to call it, on my own YouTube channel, so you can just go there and go directly to his channel. I will also link his draft recap video in the wow, why do the words just disappearing from today? I will drop the link to his draft recap video in the not comment section, in the description box. That's the word. This is going to be a great recording session. So yeah, and I was actually me and together with one other coach from the PSL, I think it was, together with Levity, came up with a draft plan that we thought would work wonders, that no one would draft anything that we thought of, and in the first round we got snapped directly. So what happened was that he changed his S tier and changed his mega pick. The rest is actually almost the same as we thought it would, that we agreed on before the draft started. So instead of Ash Greninja and Manectric, as you can see here, he would have had Circuitry and Mega Sharpedo. But hey, this works, if not as well, almost just as well, in my opinion. So first off, we have Ash Greninja. That is his Secret Steel user, and of course he needs to get the kill off before he has Ash Greninja. But regular Greninja is no problem to kill with, and to kill anything with as it is, so that's no problem. It's a great late game sweeper. Has great stats, pretty speedy, has the exact same move pool as regular Greninja. Can run almost any item it wants to run. It's a really good Pokemon, and it hits hard, it's fast, it's really dangerous to face. Next off we have Mega Manectric, and Mega Manectric is a Pokemon that doesn't look as scary as it actually is, because it has a pretty good move pool, and it has a pretty good speed and special attack stat. It has an okay amount of bulk, and it is actually a pretty decent electric type. Wait, it's not pretty decent, it's a great electric type and a pretty decent mega, and I think that it will work pretty well on this team, because it doesn't have as much of a grounder weakness as a lot of teams does that draft Mega Manectric, because they would like to pair it up with maybe with the Rain Setter, and then you have a lot of other things to take care of. Yeah, you understand what I mean. So when you draft Mega Manectric, typically your team has a lot of ground weakness. This team does not have that ground weakness. Next up we have Zygarde 50%, and of course I'm just gonna say this once again, Power Construct is banned. So you cannot run Power Construct Levity. That will be broken. But I think that you already knew that, but I'm just gonna say it anyway. So this is an extremely bulky Pokemon, very hard to deal with, pretty fast, hits hard, can do a lot of things that you don't think it can do. Special Zygarde is actually a real threat, which you maybe don't think of as much, but Special Zygarde is actually a real threat, because you're going to prepare for it from its physical side, or as it will be defensive. So if you face a special Zygarde, you will actually be in a lot of trouble. But Zygarde is, I really like Zygarde on this team. The ice weakness is pretty much the lead. It's not pretty much the lead, but it's hindered by Manectric and Greninja, because they can both take the Ice Beam without problem, and Hidden Paralyze as well, so that's no problem. Next up we have the best Earthquake Eater in the game in Shaymin, if you look at Pokemon that don't fly, of course. I really like Shaymin. I think it works wonders with Zygarde and Ash Greninja. It's a really good Pokemon. It's a status absorber. It can set up It can set its own status on the opponent, can set bleach seeds, just be a bulky annoyance, and it's still pretty offensive. Base 100 across the board is really, really good, and something that all teams should try to strive after to have. My Shaman is a really good Pokemon for this team. I feel like it fits the team well. Next up we have Bronzong. Bronzong is for me one of the best Pokemons on his team, solely because it can set up screens for the rest of his team. It can set up Stealth Rocks. It can be both levitate, or it can be levitate or heat proof, which will give him a good switch in for Shaman, so he doesn't die to either fire or ice. Bronzong doesn't care a bit about ice, and if it's heat proof, fire doesn't do shit. It's very bulky, hard to take down. I don't think it gets recover. No, it doesn't. I think it gets rest, of course, everything does. But I don't think that it has any good recovery moves, so you will pretty much have to Wish Pass or just have leftovers and run Protect to get back some health every turn. But Bronzong is a pretty good Pokemon. I really like it in this team. Those screens can be really annoying for the opponent, especially on this team. Next up we have Togetic, and I'm gonna try to keep myself to Togetic this time. Togetic will never run Hustle, it will almost run Serene Grace. It will run Serene Grace every single time. Here's the Wish passive that I talked about with Bronzong. Evilite user, extremely bulky, very hard to take down. Does like a bit of offensive pressure, tend to be very one-dimensional and pretty easy to predict and pretty hard to use very good, because you know when it's coming in and you can just attack it. It's only saving grace, no pun intended, I swear. Its only saving grace is the fairy type and its defenses after Eviolite. Without Eviolite, Togetic is pretty easy to kill thanks to 55 base HP. But Togetic is a really, really good Pokemon. It gets him a Defogger. Not that he is really weak to spikes or anything like that, but it's still pretty good to have a Defogger on the team. I really like that. So yeah, that's a really, really good pickup for him. I really like this pick as well because it gets a lot of the moves that regular Togekiss gets, but Togetic can not use them as well, but it still has this pretty good move pool and can hurt your team, especially with hidden powers. So that's really, really good. Then we have, next up, this is one of my most favorite picks of the whole draft, Ambipom. I myself, if it wasn't for Slacking being available for me, I would have drafted Ambipom. Ambipom is just an extreme annoying Pokemon to deal with. It's fast, it hits hard. Scarf, the Bandit Technician, is such hard to deal with. Life Orb is pretty dangerous as well. I'm pretty sure that you can Nasty Plot with this thing. You can Nasty Plot and you can run it especially offensive. And base 60 attack isn't that bad after 1 or 2 Nasty Plots. So I mean, you can actually hurt pretty bad with that special attack, and I think it gets like a pretty good special move pool as well. And Ambipom is a very, very good Pokemon in my opinion, very underrated. And I feel like it fits tier 4 because of the rest of its stats aren't that great. But just because of the speed and the attack and the good move pools and how many cells you can actually run with it, I feel like it should be a tier 3. But this is a really, really good Pokemon. I really like that pick. And then off to the pick that I don't agree on at all. I hate water ground types. I don't know why, but for some reason, every time I use them, I can never use them correctly, which means that I automatically lose with them and therefore despise them. But they are pretty good Pokemons in their own rights, but just that water ground weakness, I feel like that screams more, how should I put it? I feel like it screams more weakness than any other times for, except for Fire Flying maybe. But water ground, since a lot of special attackers get Grass Knot or Energy Ball, you really need to be really careful with what you send out Quagsire against. So yeah, I mean, Quagsire is still a pretty good Pokemon. It can stop setup sweepers with Unaware, and it can actually absorb water with Water Absorb. Not that it doesn't really have that weakness in my opinion, but I mean it's a usable Pokemon. I'm not very fond of the pick, however. And then in the free picks we have Dusclops. Dusclops is one of the bulkiest Pokemon in the game. Ghost type as well, so it's very hard to... It's not like you have 3 or 4 super effective moves against it. You will have like 1, maybe 2. And Dusclops is an extremely bulky Pokemon, as I said. I don't know why I repeated that. And to make it even bulky and harder to deal with, it gets Toxic, Thunder Wave. I'm pretty sure it gets... I know that it's Toxic and Will-O-Wisp. I'm pretty sure it gets Thunder Wave as well. It doesn't? Okay, that was sad. But Toxic and... Toxic and Will-O-Wisp are pretty good moves to have on this thing, just to cripple the opponent and make yourself bulkier and to be able to stall out things. Dusclops is also... I mean, a Night Hit from Dusclops does actually hurt. Even if you don't think it will, it actually does. Eviolite user once again, so he has 2 Eviolite users on his team. But I don't really see a weakness in that. Actually, because they are pretty good. They are really, really good. What is it called? We have 1 resistance to knock off, even if it has Eviolite in Togetic, and then you have 1 weakness in Dusclops to knock off, but you will never send out Dusclops against anything that learns knock off. So, yeah. And then next up we have Tornadus Therian, and this thing is so bulky that it's insane. When you just look at those stats, it doesn't scream bulky, but thanks to AV Tornadus being so useful and having Regenerator on it, it has a very high longevity and it will live extremely long in battles. And it has a great move pool, so therefore it doesn't really hurt to run the AV, and it has great speed, great special attack, rate attack, and okay HP and special defense to make it work. So that's the Pokemon that you don't really want to face, and you really need to wear it down quickly with rocks and so on. And it also stops the opposing team to roar you out, because if you roar out Tornadus, it will just gain health. So it doesn't really matter if you do that, and therefore it's a very, very good Pokemon to have in those situations. And it actually hinders the prep for your opponent. If you bring setup, it's pretty hard to get rid of it, because if you have Tornado Therian with you, they can't just roar freely, because if you just get in Tornadus, well, then you just gain your health back and nothing, and it's only your opponent that loses health. PBs. I mean, it's a really good Pokemon on that. Next up we have a Spinner, I feel like. I'm just gonna look it up. Yeah, Spinner in Hitmonchan. And I don't think it will run Keen-Eye. I pretty much it will run in the Focus Iron Fist. And it hits very, very hard. It's a good spin, it's very bulky. And it's actually surprising how many attacks it can take. And to have a fighting type, it's really good on any team, so I really like this pick. It's not that fast, but it makes up for it in bulk, which not a lot of fighting types does. But it's still a pretty good Pokemon. It's a very good Pokemon, especially this late in the draft. And I really like that pick. And last we have Magmortar. Magmortar can be run very bulky or very speedy. Choice Scarf Magmortar is actually very good strategy, because not a lot of coaches will actually see it coming. Choice Specs is another good opportunity. It has a good move pool. If you get the Sun up with something, which is very possible on this team, yeah, I'm pretty sure it gets Solar Beam it gets Solar Beam, most Fairy types does. So that is just even better for him. Yeah, I don't feel like he will bring Magmortar that often, but it's a very bulky Pokemon that is very hard to take down. So it will do him well either way. So that's all I really have to say about the team. The only Pokemon that I don't really like in this team is Quagsire. But the rest is pretty good. not pretty good, it's really good. Yeah, I forgot to mention, Quagsire does get stealth rocks. And that's a bummer. That makes it a bit more useless in my opinion. And I feel like that's why it's... I'm just gonna look it up because it was all the talk about it, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't get... Yeah, it doesn't get stealth rocks. So this is... It's a good team, but I feel like it might have some problems to face. But yeah, overall I feel like it's a very, very good team. Maybe drop Quagsire for something else, but that's up to him. And as I said, I will link his video in the description, and as I said as well, his channel is on my friend side of the channel, as you know, so that is pretty easy to navigate and find them. But yeah, that's all for me, for this video at least. My name is Djingis, and I will see you next time.